A major WWE star looks to be getting his old name and gimmick back. Kenny Omega is unsure about his AEW future, and a new Hall of Fame inductee has been announced. Yeah, it's the news. WrestleVotes have been chatting away with Give Me Sport, and this is fantastic news. I'm buzzing to be talking about this. It looks like Butch is not going to be Butch anymore. He's still going to be Butch, but he's not going to be called Butch. Pete Dunne is getting his name and potentially gimmick back as well. They said, absolutely, I was told it is in the works. When Hunter came back, I was told that Pete Dunne was due to become Pete Dunne. But somebody said to wait because the Brawling Brutes were catching on. When Pete Dunne does return, it won't be as a member of the Brawling Brutes. I'm sure he'll be back by the end of this year. This is wonderful news. I was one of the few people, like, don't get me wrong, I prefer Pete Dunne to Butch, like, as far as names go. But I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. I think fans maybe overreacted a little bit. But I can understand why, because so many people were being renamed. And Pete Dunne was like an established, cool name. And the Bruiserweight gimmick was great and everything. He's been brilliant as part of the Brawling Brutes.
He's been fantastic, and I think that initial worry came from he comes out with this new name and also sort of a new attire as well, like this Peaky Blinders sort of attire, and I think people are a bit like, ooh, not too sure about this. And then gradually we started getting him back in the singlet again, and we sort of started seeing a little bit more of that sort of bruiserweight persona come back into what he was doing, and I am so buzzing for this.
Great,
really want to see, I think, to sort of make a little bit more of an impact, we see perhaps Sheamus win the IC title at WrestleMania, and then Pete Dunne is announced as like he turns heel, and it's
him and Drew are gonna crack on.
I'm Pete Dunne, as Ross would say.
No, I reckon we're gonna get a bit more Drew. I think we're gonna get a bit more Drew Sheamus first.
Yeah.
I actually think Drew's more likely to win the IC title. Genuinely, I do.
Sheamus
I think it's going to be a massive
it.
heel turn for Drew, and then Sheamus has to chase Drew. That's why. Anyway, we're getting into fantasy booking here.
We are.
It's wonderful news regarding Pete Dunne. I'm very, very happy about it, and I can't wait to see him as Pete Dunne once again. Next up, we got a health update on Bryan Danielson. So following the absolutely epic ironman match at AEW Revolution, he has been on the Unconsciously Coupled podcast discussing both his mental and physical health. He said, legitimately, I'm in a ton of pain. I wrestled for over 65 minutes. I've got a black eye. I can lift my left arm past here, and it wasn't very high. I have shooting pain going down my leg. There's this big gaping wound on my stomach. Those kind of things are like, oh, sorry, daddy's in a lot of pain. They understand that, but as they get older, they're going to understand that some of this is not physical. So referring to his own mental health, he's talked openly about his struggles with anxiety, depression in the past. So we don't know when we're going to see him back. We don't know where we're going to see him. A lot of people were speculating that when he said, oh, daddy's going home, that he actually meant, oh, I'm going to Ring of Honor. That's my home. It looks like he's actually going to spend some time at home with his kids.
Yeah, definitely.
We haven't seen the last of him by any means, but he's getting older. He wrestles a very, very physical style, of course. He did get pretty banged up. So did MJF. Did you see that man's face last night?
Oh, my God.
It's great, isn't it? So, yeah, there's nothing really to add here, but we send our best to Bryan Danielson. Hearing that he might be struggling with his mental health is obviously concerning. So he's sending our best. He's one of the best to ever do it. We love you. Next up, Kenny Omega, unsure about his AEW future. So addressing the reported interest from WWE with CBC ahead of Dynamite, Omega said, it's all place in time. Like, we haven't really reached that time yet. And, you know, being able to start this real cool thing with a lot of friends and people that I respect in the industry. We started this Kool-Aid thing, and here we are in Winnipeg, the place I was born, the place where I spent a chunk of time carving my teeth in pro wrestling. And it's like, what do I do? What would have happened, if I'd ever been satisfied with just staying here in Winnipeg? What would have happened if I had sort of brought the old song and dance of, hey, you're nothing until you go to the US, or this is what you need to strive to become, or this is where you need to go if you want to be considered anything, or be considered a success, or taken seriously. I always try and kind of find my own way, or at least try and lean in the direction of where my heart is pulling me. And right now, I'm taking things one step at a time. And with this Winnipeg show, it feels like, yeah, this is cool, feels right. What's next? I don't know, because nothing is spoken to me, nothing is told to me, and you know, this is what you need to do. So what he's basically saying there, in a lot of words, is that he's unsure on what's going on. He doesn't know what he's going to do next. It sounds like he's still got stuff that he wants to achieve. I'd love to see him in WWE personally. I'd rather see him in WWE than AEW. I genuinely, because there's more dream matches for Kenny, personally speaking, in WWE than there is at AEW in this point. I think maybe they haven't dropped the ball with Kenny, but I do think he's been underutilized. He's not got that much longer on his contract, probably toward the tail end of this year. It was extended due to the injury. Otherwise, it would have expired very, very soon. It might have even been gone by now, but he's there for a little bit longer. He's unsure of what he's going to do. Let's move on. Vince McMahon, backstage at Raw. A new report from Sports Illustrated providing a couple of tidbits from behind the scenes. Justin Barrasso wrote that he spoke with multiple people who were backstage. He said McMahon purposely stayed out of the way. Dave Meltzer had reported that McMahon was in gorilla position all night, which is something that Sports Illustrated sources also backed up. But McMahon, he sat front and center, but apparently he didn't even have his headset on. He was on his phone all night.
It sounds like bring your father-in-law to work day, and he's just sat there playing Snake on his phone.
So was it just a moustached Vince McMahon there, swiping Bejeweled? Yeah, level 110. I don't know, I'm talking like Hulk Hogan. Vince McMahon apparently not very hands-on at all, which as far as I'm concerned is good news.
Yeah, absolutely good news. Just please stay away, Vince. Just please stay away. I mean,
I want to see the moustache, Andrew.
I want to see the moustache as well.
Because everyone has done the photoshops and it looks so funny, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'm like he's like a Fu Manchu or something like that.
I hope he was sat there with his phone just taking selfies like from down here, just like it's just the chin shot with the mustache going on.
Paul, look at this filter. Cat ears on. I look so handsome. Up next, an AEW star has been fined for swearing on TV. Saraya, Tony Storm, Ruby Soho, now officially called The Outcasts. They had some promo time, and during her go on the mic, Saraya called the fans, I can't say it because it's YouTube. It rhymes with cats and it starts with a TW. I think we'll get away with that. That's it. A very, very British insult, of course. And I don't know if she's working us here, but Saraya tweeted out, I indeed got fined for saying that word on live TV at AEW #Outcast. I don't know if I believe it. People have said worse, that's for sure.
I was going to say that. I don't believe that she'd have got fined for this if there's people saying worse things. Maybe the people that do say worse things do get fined as well. There's been a lot of S words thrown about on AEW recently.
Yeah, and that's worse than the T word, isn't it?
I think so, at least. So. I think maybe
Ross needs to do a tier list here.
It could be different in America, though, I guess. So certain words, I think, are maybe more offensive over there than they are over here. I'm not too sure.
There's lots of WWE house shows. Edge springs to mind. I've seen a clip of him like healing it up and calling the fans the W word, and then in the way, he's Canadian, but like Americans and Canadians, they always say twat. twat. Which is something that you say in school. It's like, he's a bit of a twat, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like that's like what an insult that my nan would say. Anyway, she said it with the hard A.
Oh my God.
So she's maybe been fined, don't know. Yeah. Finally, a new name has been announced for this year's WWE Hall of Fame. It is very, very fast approaching. Yeah. And we now know, following reports, that he was going to be in there, and everybody expected this. But indeed, the Great Muta will be in there. It was first confirmed on ESPN, and then Ric Flair chatted about it on the bump. What do you want to say about the Great Muta?
He's all right. He's a good lad. He's great. What some would say, he's great.
Hey, there you go. He's not the good Muta, is he?
No.
So congratulations to the Great Muta. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and run down his entire career because there's lots of it, and you all know it already. So there you go. Massive congratulations. Much deserved. That's it. One more reminder, please tune in tonight. I'm going to be live at 9 p.m. for WWE 2K23, continuing on with the My Rise mode. I'm basically Captain Brexit in this thing.
I was going to say, have you got your singlet back yet?
Well, I wanted an Isle of Wight. Yeah, I've got my singlet now. I'm not gimpy anymore. I wanted an Isle of Wight flag, but unbelievably, 2K didn't include an Isle of Wight flag in there.
I feel
outrageous.
For some reason,
the next best thing.
I thought you were talking about Isle of Dawn then from NXT UK.
I wanted an Isle of Dawn flag on me because I'm a big fan.
Absolutely.
Anyway, tune in 9 p.m. tonight. It's Cultaholic. No, youtube.com/Cultaholic/live. You can set a reminder right now. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. We'll see you in a bit.